Hi, fourth graders. Today we will be looking more at Colorado and its surrounding regions. Our learning target today is we will be able to describe the similarities and differences between the physical geography of Colorado and its neighboring states and regions. Our success criteria for today is I will be successful when I can identify and describe the similarities and differences between the physical geography of Colorado and its neighboring states and regions. Although Colorado is in the western region, it is bordered by and shares features of two other regions, the Midwest and the Southwest. To understand the history of Colorado, we need to explore the three regions that impact us the most. We will be watching three videos, one of the Western region, one of the Midwest region, focusing on a portion of the Midwest region called the Great Plains, and the Southwest region. I want you to be ready to compare the regions. I want you to find things that are similar and things that are different between the regions. You may want to jot down a few notes. After the videos, please fill out your exit ticket in this Google form.
Colorado is the fifth and final of the Mountain States. It's home to just over 5.6 million people and is the most populous state in the region. Colorado has a semi-arid climate that has snowy winters, but hot summers in its populated lower elevations, and is a state that's well known for its abundant sunshine. Colorado has a very diversified economy and is an active center of high-tech industry and scientific research. Colorado is bordered by Wyoming to the north, Nebraska to the northeast, Kansas to the east, Oklahoma to the southeast, New Mexico to the south, and Utah to the west. Arizona just touches the southwestern corner of Colorado. No other U.S. state has more high mountains than Colorado, and all of them are found in the ranges of the Southern Rockies. Overall, the state has the highest average elevation of all the U.S. states. Leadville, seen here, is 10,200 feet above sea level and is the highest town in the USA. The towering Colorado Rockies are home to nearly 30 ski resorts, several of which, including Aspen and Vail, are favorites of skiers and snowboarders from around the world. And because the state has 53 peaks that are over 14,000 feet in elevation, it is also a favorite destination for mountain climbers. In contrast to its rugged west, the land in the lower elevation eastern half of the state is quite flat and is part of the Great Plains. In Colorado, the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains, seen here, form the westernmost boundary of the Great Plains. Most Coloradans live along the Front Range. Denver, which is the largest city in the mountain region and the capital of Colorado, is located out on the plains just a short distance from the base of the Rockies. Denver is 5,286 feet, or 1 mile, above sea level. Further east on the Great Plains, the population thins out and the land is farmed wherever there is adequate water for irrigation. In places where the amount of available water is insufficient for farming, native grasses and sagebrush predominate. The South Platte and Arkansas rivers, which are two main rivers of eastern Colorado, have their headwaters in the Rocky Mountains on the eastern slopes of the Continental Divide. In southern Colorado, the headwaters of the Rio Grande aren't far from the Great Sand Dunes National Park. From near here, the Rio Grande flows southward, and in Texas forms the U.S. border with Mexico. The Colorado River is the state's biggest river and flows to the west. It starts in the Rockies in the north-central part of the state and goes on to become a major source of the water consumed in Arizona, southern Nevada, and southern California. More than half the land of Dinosaur National Monument is located in the northwestern corner of Colorado, near the border of Wyoming. To the south of Dinosaur, the desert lands of the vast Colorado Plateau make up the rest of the western part of the state along its border with Utah. The Colorado National Monument, a place that's filled with rugged canyons and amazing rock formations, is located in this part of the state. Mesa Verde National Park is located near the southwestern corner of Colorado, not far from New Mexico. For 7 centuries, Mesa Verde was continuously occupied by Native Americans until a great drought forced them to leave late in the 1200s. In the early part of that century, it is estimated that as many as 22,000 Native people were living here in cliff-dwelling communities like this one.
Hello, this is Mrs. Katz, and I want to talk to you today about the Southwest region. We're going to be talking about the land and water features. We'll be talking about climate, products and natural resources, as well as important landmarks and cultural things. So let's get started. The Southwest region is quite a large region. It covers a large amount of land, but it actually has the smallest number of states compared to all the other regions. So in the Southwest, there are 4 states. There's Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. Only 4. So the Southwest region stretches west from the Gulf of Mexico off the coast of Texas to the Colorado River in Arizona. Mexico borders the region on the south. Now in this picture, you're seeing deserts because the Sonoran Desert and the Chilean Desert make up a large part of the land in the Southwest. The Sonoran Desert, which is this one right here, it covers most of the southern half of Arizona, all the way east to New Mexico. The Sonoran Desert has large sandy plains and bleak mountains. Branches of the Colorado River run through it, so many of the trees like cacti and shrubs, they find enough water to grow there. Beautiful flowering cacti and yucca make the desert seem more like a garden than the open sandy place that one might imagine. Now the Chilean Desert is the largest desert in North America, and you'll see the Chilean Desert right over here. Now it's approximately 800 miles long and 250 miles wide. Most of the Chilean Desert is in Mexico, as you can see. In the United States, it extends to parts of New Mexico, Texas, and sections of southeastern Arizona. Now, looking at these pictures on the right, can you guess which desert is shown in these places, in these pictures? Yeah. This top picture and this bottom picture, those are the Sonoran Desert. You can see all that vegetation and growth. The middle one is the Chilean Desert. The Southwest has vast plains and spectacular canyons and colorful plateaus. The eastern part of the Southwest region is made up of plains, which are, as you know, areas of flat lands. As you can see in this picture, the Great Plains are the lowest lands in the Southwest region. The soil there of the Great Plains spreads from the coast of Texas along the Gulf of Mexico and into central Oklahoma. These plains are home to many farms and ranches. Farther west, the land rises to form the Colorado Plateau, and that's what you're looking at here. Now remember, a plateau is a high, flat landform that rises steeply from the land around it. The Colorado Plateau covers much of the northern New Mexico and Arizona. Much of the Colorado Plateau is fairly level, but it's crisscrossed by hundreds of deep canyons. Now a canyon is a deep, narrow valley with steep sides. The largest and most famous of these canyons is the Grand Canyon. And that's what you're looking at here, the Grand Canyon. It runs through 217 miles of Arizona. Parts of the Grand Canyon are a mile deep and 18 miles wide. The Grand Canyon is so deep that the top and the bottom have different weather. The Grand Canyon is made up of layers of rock. The bottom layers are more than 1 billion years old. At the bottom of the canyon is the Colorado River. This river has been flowing through the Grand Canyon for millions of years. The force of the water has caused the walls of the canyon to wear away over time. This wearing away of the rock is called weathering, and erosion is when that sediment gets transported away by the river. Weathering and erosion is why the Grand Canyon is so deep. This is actually the Colorado River. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. It travels south and west down through some of the driest parts of the country. Then it crosses into Mexico and ends in the Gulf of California. The Colorado River is 1,470 miles long. Now, many smaller rivers flow into the Colorado River. Rivers that join other rivers are called tributaries, and each tributary adds water and soil called silt to the Colorado River. Now, this silt is what gives the river its reddish-brown color that you see here. What you're looking at here is the Hoover Dam. It's one of America's greatest manufactured structures, man-made. Hoover Dam was built to control flooding on the Colorado River and to store water. An area where water is stored is called a reservoir. The Hoover Dam was built more than 60 years ago. Lake Mead, that's the lake that's behind the Hoover Dam, it provides water for many people in the southwest region. We can't talk about waterways without talking about this one, the Rio Grande, or the Rio Grande. In Mexico, they actually refer to it as the Rio Bravo. Now, this brings much needed water to the area. The Rio Grande is 1,885 miles long. It begins in the mountains of Colorado, and then it flows south through the middle of New Mexico. Then the river turns southeast, making a big bend along the border of Texas, where it empties into the Gulf of Mexico. The Rio Grande forms part of the border between the United States and Mexico.